Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well today.
How
Happy.
your office is holding up?
What?
How your office is holding up?
Good. Good. Pretty good. Yours?
Yeah, we're getting back into a bit of a groove. Had our first staff meeting live in person.
How was that?
That felt a little weird. Been a lot of Zoom for a long time.
I am. I'm definitely zoomed out.
Yeah. It's just a totally different experience, you know.
There is Zoom burnout that happens for sure that nobody ever knew about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we've got, I think it's at the same time, I think it's very effective for our office in terms of, because we cover such a broad area geographically.
Yeah.
And we've got people who are affiliated with a business center 2 hours from where I'm sitting. So them coming to an all partners meeting, like, no.
Right.
Right. So that I think is a real benefit.
Yeah.
Have you guys worked out any good version of doing a combination of live and Zoom so that both experiences are good?
So on Wednesday, we're going to be experiencing the first time. So I'll let you know after Wednesday. But what we're doing is drive-in movie theater style.
Yep.
So I have everybody coming to the market center, parking in the lot, and then being on Zoom, but we're also live presenting the meeting out in the parking in the front of the office.
Gotcha.
So we're doing both. We're kind of doing the both, and then we're finishing off with a taco truck.
Hey.
Right? Hey.
Dude. You're the coolest person I know. I mean, that's awesome. That is so cool. Freaking taco truck. Don't tell anybody I work with that you're getting a taco truck. You're like, I'll buy you a taco. How about that? Yeah, I'm getting no taco truck. Yeah. I love it.
Nice to see you.
Hey, gang.
Leisha, Todd, welcome.
Love it. I love it. All right, so
I'm here. I'm eating lunch, so you don't want to see it.
Yes, it's our last one of these, and it's funny as I was rereading this section because it's all about personal growth. It's all about personal growth. The expansion of leadership really relies on personal growth, and there's a lot of overlap in terms of what we talk about in Keller Williams and what John talks about in this section. One of our bold laws is your business grows to the extent that you do. Right? Your business grows to the extent that you do. And that's one of the things that John's really harping on here is that your growth as a leader is going to be tied to your ability to grow personally. And it's really that raising your lid conversation, right? As you develop and grow, you're not only going to be able to pour into others better at a higher level, add more value, and you're also going to be able to attract higher quality people to you because they see you as a better leader and a deliverer of more value. So couple of topics to go over on this one, and then just wrap up with any questions, comments that you guys have, anything you've been struggling with. It's your time. So first off, John says growth matters. Growth matters, right? Growth is the only guarantee that tomorrow will be better. It's the only guarantee that tomorrow will be better. And he wants us to keep doing a handful of things, right? First off, keep asking questions, right? Don't ever get outside of the question asking mode, right? That's where we learn, right? Is by asking questions. If any of you have kids around like I do, like it's an endless continuum of credit. Well, why this? Well, why that? Well, why can't we do this? Well, why can't we do that? Right? Well, they're learning, they're sponging, they're growing. 2, keep the bar of excellence high. And I would challenge each of you, have it be measured against your potential, right? Or have it be measured against Don't ask yourself, what can be done, or are we doing the best we can, right? Is it the best that can be done, right? So if you're not sure where your potential is, then ask the question that way. You walk out of a listing presentation, you go sit in your car and you go, is that the best listing presentation that's ever been done? If not, I would come up with a couple of specific things to work on, right? Is that after every negotiation, whether you got the deal together or didn't, what could I have done better, right? Again, tying into that, asking questions and keeping the bar high on the excellence. Be people-centric. John says if you want to continue to grow, one of the ways to do that is to be people-centric, right? Don't get self-absorbed. Don't get caught up in being self-absorbed. Number 4, be posture conscious. And I think he talks about this in a kind of a physical way, but I think it's also just in an energy way, right? What are you doing to make sure that your energy is staying where it needs to? Gary talks in the Millionaire Real Estate book about an agent's energy plan, right? We talked recently about the fact that we can't be 100% on 100% of the time. Another way somebody told me once, if you're never really off, you're never really on, right? Because effectively, you're never really recharging the batteries. You're never at 100%. So let's have this posture conscious about us and then remain today focused, right? Do we want to do some planning for tomorrow? Yes. Do we want to learn the lessons of yesterday? Yes. But the only place we can freaking live and do is today. So we don't get it too far out in our skis, and we won't get stuck looking in the rearview mirror too long. Okay? Then John walks us through a growth mindset, around hope. And he says 3 things about that. First off, a growth mindset is the seed of hope. It's the seed of hope. We plant that seed just by working on our mindset. Tie it into how we talk about it in bold, point far, right? Our programming, right? That computer that's running in our head leads to our thoughts, right? Our programming is going to lead to our thoughts, and our thoughts are going to lead to our feelings, right? Which helps us to create what John's talking about, this habit of hope. And then our thoughts are going to our feelings are going to lead into our actions, right? Which is really what John's talking about here. And so there's growth sustained over time realizes hope. It realizes hope, right? And then ultimately, if we complete the circle, our actions are going to lead to results which influence our programming, right? So how are we doing with having that be really a hope-driven thing? Growth means change. And I know every time I read that, Jen, I go, oh. As much as I teach it, work to live it, you name it, I still have that initial reaction of, man, that's, it's like having to buy a new phone, right? It's like, I like having the new phone, right? I need a new phone, but man, those 2 weeks of getting the new phone, So just understand that growth comes from change. It really does. And so if our world is not imposing it upon us, what are we doing to proactively go out there and seek it? And I'm not saying reckless, in kind of a reckless way. What I'm saying is, if I know I'm getting a little stagnant, if I know I'm getting a little stale, how do I invite change into my world? Sometimes, one of the best things you can do is spend time with somebody who you really disagree with. You respect them and you disagree with them. Spend time there, right? You're going to spend a little bit of time questioning and kind of pressure testing some of your beliefs, how you think, right? And that can just be an action that breaks off some of the cobwebs. Every level of growth calls for a new level of change. Every level of growth calls for a new level of change, right? And so John's got some questions for us on this. First, when it comes to learning, What do I need to learn today that I didn't know yesterday? What do I need to learn today that I didn't know yesterday? Unlearn, that's a great filter, right? What do I need to let go of today that I held on to yesterday? Ooh, right? We kind of fall in love with our thoughts, don't we? Right? And oftentimes we'll kind of replay them over and over and over again. And even though we might not have relived them, we keep replaying them. And that can really burn those connections into our brain. So they really get reinforced. So we've got our learning that we need to do, right? What do I need to learn today that I didn't know yesterday? We got to unlearn, right? What do I need to let go of that I held on to yesterday? I see a couple of market center leadership faces on here. So, think about some of the stuff we had to unlearn in March, right? When everything had to go virtual immediately, I know there were things that I had just fought for that I'm like, oh, shoot, I got to let go of all that, right? No, we got to have more space. We got to have more of this. We got to have more of that, right? And with a flip of a switch, we got to let go of that. We got to renegotiate our space. We got to get, right? So you've got to have some flexibility to be able to do that. And then John also says, we've got to be willing to relearn. What do I need to change today that I was doing yesterday? And I come at our agents with that one because that one's always, one of the best conversations I have with real estate agents is, well, when you got going to real estate, what'd you do? What got the business going? Oh, I did open houses. I called expires. Great. And how'd that work? Oh, it worked great. So what are you doing today? Oh, yeah, I don't do expireds. I don't do open houses. So wait, what? The things that built your business, the things that worked to get the whole thing going, those are the things that we let go of? What do I need to change today that I was doing yesterday? Right? Now, do I have to go about doing open houses a little different? Do I have to go about my contacts to expires? Yeah, sure. Yeah. That's a whole nother layer of change in and of itself, right? Next big point. Growth is the great separator between those who succeed and those that don't. Those that succeed and those that don't. There's an aspect to our history as a species, right? That is always on this trajectory of development, improvement, right? Getting, almost every parent you talk to says, the one thing that I really want for my kids is I want their life to be better than mine was, right? Even if your life's pretty darn good, I'm looking to create a better world, a better experience, model my marriage so that they have a better chance at having a marriage that lasts as opposed to the models that I had. And, things like that. I mean, we take that effect and that look at it. So John's telling us growth is a great separator between those who succeed and those who don't. So look at your level of success, right? Look at your level of success. How are you doing right now? That is an indicator. That's a lagging indicator of your current level of growth. It has to be, or John's lying to us. If I'm struggling now, right? And I've given it time, right? Now, I will give you that caveat because, hey, Brad, I'm 2 minutes into real estate and I haven't made any money. Okay, it does take time. There's sales cycle. There's all that kind of stuff. So we've got to give ourselves a little bit of time. But if you're telling me I'm 10 years in real estate and I'm still, struggling to get where I want, then I'm going to go, well, hey, talk to me about how you've really grown in the last 10 years. And when I say grown, I don't mean, what class did you sit in and not pay attention? Right? What thing did you go to because your team leader or EOP said, hey, you should take advantage? I'm like, oh, all right, I'll go. And I show up for the first part of it and then I leave early. That's not the kind of growing I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about actual growth. Growth's highest reward is not what we get from it, but what we become because of it. What we become because of it, right? Couple more points. for growth to be maximized, it must be strategic. Let's say that another way in terms of a Keller Williams term, entrepreneurial to purposeful, right? If I'm going to grow in a maximized way, I'm not going to be stumbling around going, I wonder if this podcast is good or that podcast is good. I'm going to go talk to the smartest people I know and say, what podcast has made the biggest impact on your life? And I'm going to look for a theme. And when I've got 3 or 4 people that I really respect that all say, hey, you got to take advantage of Think Like a CEO, or you got to take advantage of this, or take advantage. Great. I'm putting that on my plan now, right? I'm putting that on my plan now. So we want to be strategic about it if we want to maximize it. But that's true with anything. That's true with anything, right? I can go out my door and start running, or I can have a personal trainer who's sending me a workout plan every day, and I can follow that workout plan. One of them's guaranteed going to give me a better result, right? So John's going to ask us this, where do I need to focus my growth? Where is it? And then how can I measure and affect my growth? How can I measure and affect my growth? And then how can I grow daily? Right? So where do I need to really focus my growth? How will I know it's happening? And how can I make that a daily practice? Right? The secrets of a person's success is determined by what he or she does daily. Jen, I'm going to poke at you here quick because you're a very successful person. You've put a lot of time and effort into your real estate career, and it's really paid off in a bunch of different ways. What are a couple of things that you can look back on and go, that daily activity, that thing has made a big difference in my life?
The daily activity is honestly the scripts.
Bingo.
Like that, if I were to say one thing, like people say, how do you like just know how to say that? It's really not me knowing how to say it. I just internalized scripts and it sounded like I knew what I was saying.
I don't actually know nothing, but I sound like people who know stuff. And right. Yeah. I mean, if I had to point to one thing, get after it early every day. Like my alarm clock right now is set for 4:45, and it doesn't have to be 4:45. Okay, it can be 5:30, it can be 6:15, right? Like, but get after it earlier than other people, right? Are you getting on the road when the traffic's already at its peak, or are you ahead of the wave, right? Every time
I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you. I loved at family reunion when they showed the Kobe Bryant video. I don't know if you remember that video, but it was pretty impactful. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Google the Kobe Bryant motivational video. Yeah. He spoke about his daily routine, and he said, you know what? I was the first person in the gym.
Right.
And I was the last person in the gym. And if you put your schedule where you're there early, you take a break and go rest, recover, come back, do it again, go rest, recover, come back, do it again. You have a longer day than anybody else.
Correct. Yeah.
I love that piece.
Yeah, and I watched something on Larry Bird recently, and it was very similar. It was, everybody's going to do their workout, and then I'm going to do 100 more free throws, right? Or I'm going to come to town, and before I go to the hotel and check in, I'm going to get a workout in at the gym where we're competing that night. And then I'm going to the room. Then I'm going back and doing the workout with the team. Like, top performers, they don't end up as top performers by luck. That's not how right? They prepare and prepare and prepare and prepare and prepare. And when opportunity shows up, they're prepared, right? They're prepared. Other thoughts? What have you done daily that has really impacted your success?
I would love to hear from Jamie. I see Jamie.
I would too. She's got those lovely white teeth. Come on.
She's just
give us some pearls of wisdom.
What's the question?
I wasn't paying attention.
No, I was listening. Can you repeat it?
What are you doing? What have you done? Retrospect. What have you done as kind of a daily activity that you can point to and say, you know what, that led to a big part of my success professionally?
Recently it's I commit to 1 hour of watching something with command. It was the only way as a team leader, and we were saying this morning, it was the only way that I was going to understand the value that I was throwing at my agents. So this product comes out and I'm like, you have to be on it. You have to use it. It's amazing. It's going to do wonders. And I wasn't using it myself because I didn't see the value until I had to slow down and commit to this is the value. So me in like the last 90 days or 120 days, I 100% inside and out can do everything in command, explained everything in command. And I'm actually modeling it with smart plans for recruiting and ads for recruiting the way that my agents would be. I mean, that would be
Wouldn't that be great? Right.
Wouldn't that be great?
But yeah, what's great is there's such a, for both of your guys' examples is, this is stuff that we talk about. It's stuff that we encourage agents to take advantage of, scripts, command, right? And it's a part of your story, which is, you feel it, it, like, so there's a layer of passion and authenticity that comes from, hey, I've lived it, right? Anytime I've worked with anybody in like a coaching relationship, like I'm trying to get you there faster than I got there, right? And Jamie, I'm sure you're looking at command going like, don't wait 6 months to start fooling around, like now. Yeah, I waited and it didn't help, right? Go.
Like my agents, I mean, I'm so fired up on some of these things that they're just like, oh my God, like relax. And I'm like, no, you don't understand.
Right.
But to go back to the choices though, I had to choose that though. So there was a choice that I made because you said about success and, we were talking about athletes and stuff. I'm not going to be the best team leader. I'm not going to be the best recruiter. I'm not going to be the best for my people if I'm not committing to something that I'm implementing that I'm actually saying to them. You can only go so far in life before you actually have to do something different and commit to one thing different to be better. Because natural talent, there it was. Now I really want, and I really wanted to be like, oh, I have to do something better if I want to be up with the Karen Prahls and everybody else in our company.
That's right. Napoleon Hill says, he's got this as one of the last quotes in the book. It's not what you are going to do. It's what you are doing right now that counts. Don't tell me about what you're going to do. What are you doing right now, right? Are you spending that hour today, right? Are we doing scripts and role play today? Did you get up early and get after it today, right? How do you just make that small shift to start having those daily activities lead to your growth? And as John says, that's the key. That's the foundation for leadership growth. Thoughts, questions?
While Jamie was talking, it made me think, because she had told me that she had done this recently, but she started journaling regularly. Now we've all journaled, and we might do it during bold or partly during bold or sporadically. But one thing that I've taken away from Jamie is her full commitment on journaling and how that has helped her growth, like her mindset and what she really intends to do on a daily basis that she's held herself back from. Because maybe a little bit of fear, maybe a fear of success, maybe a fear of just getting started. And I loved that. So thank you for sharing it with me, Jamie.
I know that's one that I have visited journaling, right? I certainly don't live there, right? And that's, I know if I really committed to that thing and spent 20 minutes, you just spend 20 minutes. Putting down your thoughts, again, kind of looking at those like, hey, what did I do today that I don't ever want to do again? Right? What did I learn today? Help cement that down,
But I think with journaling, so I think before the reason why I didn't commit to it and it didn't work is it's because I just felt like I was ranting.
Right.
There was no purpose to my journaling. I might as well have just been, talking out loud to myself in the car. Right. But when I journaled, what worked today? what did I really want to do today? What did I accomplish? Like, what am I happy with today? Like, where did I really show up? And sometimes it's in business, sometimes it's in my relationships with my friends, it's my kids, it's myself. But there had to be something good that I mastered or showed up at a high level today. And when I change that focus on my journaling is more of what did I do today and where are my intentions for tomorrow, that works for me.
And are you doing it, you're doing it at the end of the day?
I do it at the end of the day, and I don't use my notes on my phone anymore. I actually really write it out, which is scary because you lose that book.
Right. Yeah.
It's out there.
I found it in your parking lot, by the way, and it's some great stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
But I think it's that, I don't know. It's just that shift. I feel like with COVID, it made a lot of us slow down, and there was a lot of self-discovery, self-talk, self-searching, because there was nothing else to do.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
It worked for me though.
There's a great, I forget what sitcom it is. I think it's maybe one of the like cartoony ones, but the kids are finally out of the house. There's nothing on fire. The husband and wife sit down and they basically say, and the wife goes, "So about our marriage," right? And they both like run for the hills, like, "Nope, not going there," right? Like you have to force the issue to take the time on this stuff. And sometimes we're given a gift, we're given a gift of something like COVID, which is tough to look at it through that lens. But I know there's things that my family's going to be doing that we wouldn't have gotten to that had it not been forced on us,
Like Gary Keller says, things get exposed during these times, during a pandemic, during shifts, during things like things get exposed, whether it be a good exposed in your business or the holes that were being exposed in your business. This is when it shows up. Correct. And it's up to us to figure out how we're going to fill the gaps, or we're going to thrive, or we're going to sit back and let things happen to us, right? So it really is up to us.
Yeah. Lori, love your point. Like all the some days, the should do's, all that kind of stuff, right? COVID showed up and you actually were able to start doing them and whacking away at them. So that's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. Yeah. For me, it's been a fair amount of really looking at the schedule. Like that's where I often come back to is how am I spending my time?
Right.
Right. How am I spending my time? What am I not spending enough time on? What do I need to be spending more time on? What I've got to cut out? Right. And just constantly refreshing that and making sure that there's alignment there. Right. What else? Anything else?
Yeah, one of the things I focus on, and I love to hear from other people, one of the things I focused on was growth during this time. And my schedule is packed like everybody else's. I needed to find time for this growth piece. And one of my favorite mentors who I have yet to really sit down and had a one-on-one conversation with is Mel Robbins. And I'm not sure if anybody knows who Mel Robbins is, but Jamie and I know her pretty well. She actually spoke at one of the Keller Williams events back in Las Vegas a few years ago, and that's where I first learned about Mel Robbins. Well, I've been a follower, and she's been my mentor since.
Nice.
She just put out this Power of You coaching, and I saw it come through my email, and how you ever like it just like talks to you, like you have to. I just registered for it, and I said, I'm going to find the time to do this because I need to for me. And I do it at nighttime after my 17-month-old daughter goes to bed. I go on my iPad, I watch the video, and I feel there's a workbook. Workbook is intense, guys.
Right.
Like you have to say like how you're feeling, why you're feeling it, and then everything in between. And that's where the growth comes from. So talk about growth. If you're really looking to challenge yourself, find something like that.
No, I love it. And I think that was a little bit of what John was talking about yesterday, finding those visionary people that really kind of get you thinking different, right? And then finding ways, how do I spend more time with them? And with all the tools we have now, it's, I don't have to fly to Vegas to see, right? I can experience it every day on my couch and my PJs on my iPad, right?
Well, Jamie and I were live with her this morning. 11 o'clock. Nice. We were live with her.
Nice.
That's how we
Love it.
experienced it.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, I'm a big Warren Buffett fan, and I troll through recordings of him from sessions from 10 years ago, 30 years ago, just like, okay, all right.
You get value from it. That's what's crazy.
What's that?
I said you still get value from it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All day long. All day long. All day long. And and again, I think it's finding those people who really speak to you, finding those people that for whatever reason it really resonates, and then dive deep into it. And no judgment. It can be everything from journaling. I've gotten, though I don't journal, I find that having quiet time in the morning makes a big difference, right? Being able to spend 20 or 30 minutes, no kids, no goats, no whatever. And it's just like me stuck in my own head, seeing what kind of fruits came from sleeping, right? Like I went through that process, and you wake up in the morning, you have new thoughts, and it's like, okay, you got to give yourself some space to kind of take those in, and then am I shoving some of that out, or am I going to take some action on that? And that's something I started maybe 4 years ago, of just having that quiet time first thing in the day, and I miss it if it doesn't happen. On a Saturday, if I wake up on a Saturday and it's a kid jumping on me and that's how I wake up, I'm grumpy dad all day. Yeah. Anything else?
What's amazing about Zoom too is, think about if you're really on, and this isn't anything about anybody who might be listening and stuff like that, but when you're on Zoom, you're actually face to face with everybody.
Right.
And it forced me to even be more purposeful in the conversations except I couldn't remember what you asked, because I don't know what I was.
All right. I'm a blabberer.
But being present in that spot, right? The huge highlight. So when I decide to join on calls, unless somebody's coming into my office right now and really needs me, like at the beginning, I'll put it on video. Otherwise, why did I time block this for this if I'm not really having this conversation right now?
Right.
And those are my choices, though.
Right. Well, I think what I love about it is you're being authentic with what you're actually saying yes and no to. Like, if I'm going to say yes to this, I'm actually going to do it. Right. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be present. I'm going to, right. I'm always a big fan of calling people out in a class, and I always get a few enemies, right? But it's they're doing it's like, no. Pick one. I will not be offended if you get up and leave. I promise.
Pick one.
Pick one. Right. So I think I think that's a great awareness. That's a great awareness. So I know it's my kids. That's where as I'm trying to wrap up the day, I'm walking in the door. You're trying to hit the last few whatevers, and then you hit the, Daddy, can you put your phone down? And they're right. Right? Either be here or don't be here. And there's times where I've sat in the freaking car, in the driveway, and people are looking out the window going like, when are you coming in? Like, I'm not quite done yet. So,
That's me to a T.
Yeah.
I sit in my car for like an hour when I get home, like responding to the final emails, text messages, phone calls, because I know as soon as I walk through that door, I don't have children. I have a dog and a boyfriend, and still, like, I walk through that door and it's like, pay attention to me.
Right.
Immediately.
That's right. Just so you know, you have 2 children. You have a dog and a boyfriend. That's 2 kids. That's 2 kids right there. Yeah.
Just preparing me for the real deal, right?
Exactly.
It gets real.
Yes, there you go. Yeah. Awesome. Well, gang, thank you so much for showing up for this. I know our schedules are getting busier and busier as things open up, and so it's really been a pleasure. Jen, thanks so much for facilitating not only this one, but all the ones that we've done up to now. That's been great. So I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for letting me, and thank you for being present all these classes and sessions. So I really appreciate you and your time. We're going to talk more offline on some other stuff that we might be working on for the region. So we'll keep talking about that. But I think that's it. So everybody have a wonderful weekend. Thank you again, Brad, and everybody who showed up today. We're going to put this recording on our YouTube channel. So if you want to re-listen to it or tell your friends, tell them to come up to the New England YouTube channel.
Awesome. Thanks, gang.
guys.
Thank
Bye.
you all so much.
See you.
Jane,
Bye.
I've never seen you so much on a Friday.
Legit. Bye.